on a dark night. Come with me, Mr. Tree said, stepping out of the shadows. We have a lot to talk about. Alex rose. He felt now like he had felt every time he had been discovered committing an infraction back in Quill. His heart sank as he turned around slowly, only to find a grim look on Mr. Today's face. Caught. Mr. Today waved to the Grinnells and began walking across the lawn towards the mansion. He didn't appear worried that Alex would follow, and it was Mr. Today's nonchalance that compelled Alex to tag along him rather than run away or hide. Alex hurried through the grass and caught up to the mage's brisk pace. It's a gorgeous night, Mr. Today breathed deeply the salty air. I should remember to come out more often at this hour. I love the sound of the sea in the dark when all the other creatures are quiet, don't you? Yes, Alex rolled his heart. Yes, he said, and then because it sounded funny, the words hanging out there alone, he added like a dutiful student. It's sort of musical, like a new kind of instrument. Indeed, Mr. J said approvingly. My, but you've come a long way in almost a year. You can see it yourself, my boy. Alex was quite quiet for a moment, pleasantly confused by the turn in events, but a little suspicious all the same. I suppose I can, sir. Of course you can. The old maid stopped at shore and looked out over the sea. Have you discovered Claire's boat in the lagoon? He said. He looked a real beauty. She squinted his eyes shut. Yes. Was that the right answer? Alex wasn't sure. One day, we'll go for a cruise. Maybe one of the neighboring islands with whom we used to trade goods. I have been wanting to go back for years, Mr. Today said, almost as if no to himself, but I imagine that they had hard feelings when we cut off communications with them. I wonder if anyone there would remember me. And then he roused himself from his thoughts and turned sharply back towards the mansion. But first, we got some business to take care of. Alex stumbled after him. We do? Mr. Today reached the walkway, climbed the steps, opened the mansion door with a sweeping gesture, and ushered Alex inside. To my office, he said. Your office? Alex blushed as he entered the mansion. I guess I don't know where. Simber cocked his head at Alex and growled. Mr. Today held up his head and chuckled. No need, Simber. The boy needs his dignity. Alex stumbled up the staircase as his fair face burned. Without another word, Mr. Today nimbly took the staircase 2 at a time and walked into the secret hallway. Alex hesitated, turned around to look at Simber, realized how stupid he had been. To think no one had seen him go in. Simber grinned cheekily at the boy. Alex stood his head and followed Mr. Today. I'm such a dolt, he said. Mr. Today laughed, and then held out a finger at the glass shield. It shimmered, splashed to the door, and disappeared. And we all have our moments, my boy. Come have a seat. Thank you, Alex said. He sat down heavily in one of the office chairs and tried with all his might not to stare at the blackboards above Mr. Today's head. Mr. Today looked at Alex. Let's be honest with each other, shall we? Alex blinked. Okay. Do you miss your brother? Alex stared at his heart quickly. No. Mr. Today regarded Alex for a moment, then he turned to the blackboard. Alex. He said, Is that true? Your brother was creative like you. Alex blinked. Well, he did try to draw once. Alex remembered the time in the backyard when it rained. What happened? My father got us mixed up. He thought Aaron was me. I was always the troublemaker, and it was pouring rain, and we were identical. It was a simple mistake, Alex said. He felt like he had to defend his father, and Aaron went along with it. He let you get written up for his infraction. Alex shifted uncomfortably. Mr. Today, I already had several infractions. I knew I'd be wanted. One more infraction wouldn't have made a difference to me. and one would have made a difference for Aaron. Alex's eyes teared up. Yes, it's also confusing. You would have done anything for him. That's the way it is with twins, isn't it? Alex nodded, not trusting himself to speak. Finally, he whispered, I wish I hadn't. Because then he might be here, is that it? Yes. Alex, you did a noble thing, thinking you were saving him. Believe me, I understand. And I think very highly for you of it. Alex swallowed hard and looked at his lap. Mr. Today shuffled some papers on his desk and stood up. Come with me, I'll walk you back. Alex got to his feet and followed Mr. Today to the hallway. So, Alex, Mr. Today said, talking on a lighter tone. How are your studies now that you're in training? All going well? But he seemed to be searching for something deeper. Alex thought of the dreams, the doorway. His heart ached as the thought of never seeing Aaron again. Finally, he looked up at Mr. Today. Everything's going really great. I like it here. Mr. Today gazed at Alex as they walked, his face identical. After a moment, he smiled sadly. Good, he said. I'm very glad of that. Where there's a will. Where are you going? Lani demanded, tapping her foot loudly near the library tubes, making several creatures, students, and statues growl in her direction. You're always sneaking around these days. I'm busy, Alex said. With what? Spells, lethal stuff. That reminds me, he said, trying to think of a way to change the subject so that Lani would leave him alone. He was so close to finishing his doorway. I really want to know what the indication is for turning Shadow Clip's needle. Any idea? Lani cocked her head. I don't know. Well, can you find out? I'd like to learn that one. Maybe not, because I'll ever use it. I mean, just in case. I'm not saying. Lani's eyes widened. You mean you'll kill someone if it came to that? I'm not saying that. I think you are, Alex shrugged. Only if I had to. I don't ever want to kill anybody. Lani was silent. She turned. I'll see what I can find out, she said, wandering off into the rows and rows of books. When she was out of sight, Alex slipped through the doorway up to the stairwell and bounded up the steps to the third floor. He peered into the window, saw that it was all dark, and then went inside. Then he tiptoed back to his table to finally finish up his painting. Before an hour had passed, he finally made a final stroke with his brush and stood back. The doorway practically grew thicker on the table. It looked so realistic. Alex grinned. Certainly this time it will work. He gazed a little longer at it and still felt a thrill run through him as he thought about finally seeing his brother again. Glanced around, wondering if he could find a free wall in the library. The other walls were covered with bookshelves, so he rolled it up carefully and packed up his brushes and pencils. As he grabbed his backpack, he heard a creak of the door. Two voices spoke in hushed sound. One of them was Alex. Recognized it was Samad. Immediately, Alex tensed. He silently took his things and stepped behind a shelf, his back against it, facing the tiki totem pole. His breath came into a shallow, quiet flow, and his skin erupted with goosebumps. He cursed himself for not having an invisibility paintbrush with him. He could hear the two louder now that the door had closed, settling in at a table near the front. Alex was trapped. He crept closer so he could hear them better and see through the space where it's been the shelves. The hinges are all wrong. See there? Samad said, pointing into a door really similar to that one Alex had finally just perfected. I know, I'm trying, Will said crossly. This isn't actually my area of expertise. Let me try. You tried and you can't do it either. Just be quiet. I'm concentrating. I could ask Alex, Sam had said. Willow laughed out loud. Sam, you're even stupider than you look. Alex is being extremely helpful from afar already. Involving him would wreck everything. You know yourself how much he still thinks of his think of a brother. Sam's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing for a moment. He pulled out a chair and sat backward on it. Yeah, maybe I'm stupid. Because I don't get why you even want to go back there. I mean, sure, you can get skivvies off Aaron Stowey for taking your spot with the governors. But what good will that do? You'll expose our time, and we'll have a fight. Will tossed his pencil frustrated. Look, I don't have a plan on everybody finding out who I really am, okay? At least not at first. Not with Threadcoate's eyes, courtesy of your loser friend Alex and my incredible magical abilities. And believe me, when I'm done with Aaron, he won't be able to tell a soul. Alex sucked in breath as he nearly got loose his grip on his 3D door. Sam had looked up as if he heard something, but then turned back to Will. What do you mean? Are you going to kill him or something? He laughed nervously. Will Blair just shook his head and scowled. He picked his pencils again and started working on the door. Seriously, Will, Sam said when Will didn't answer him. His voice grew quiet. Are you planning to kill him? I prefer the term eliminate, Will said, snarling. You have a problem with that? Or do I have to get rid of you too? Sam's face turned green in the eerie blue light from the table. No, he whispered. Of course not. Alex's mind raced. How on earth was he going to get out of there and get to Aaron in time to warn him? He could only hope that Will wasn't close enough to finishing the door. Wait tonight before they packed up, or they would be in serious problems. If he could only get to his bedroom. No, Sylvie would know what he was up to if he just appeared from the bedroom, and no doubt he would alert Mr. Today. Alex couldn't risk that. Where else would Alex go where that no one would see him? He slid down to the floor to sit the night out, and when he did so, his shoe crumpled the every edge of his rolled-up drawing. Did you hear something? Simon asked quietly. No, I think I heard something. So make yourself useful and check it out. Alex put a hand over his mouth and nose, as if to silence his own breath. He froze, as Will Simon to think it was nothing. Sam was silent a moment, and then he got up and slowly walked through the dusky library. He rounded a row of shelves, and Alex could hear him just on the other side of the row he leaned against. He nearly exploded in fear. No, no, no. He kept repeating in his hand, please, no. Simon rounded by the corner of the totem pole. His statue dropped in his tracks when he got sight of Alex. His eyes grew wide, scared at first, and then narrowed. Alex tensed and ready for one for it, and pleaded with Samid. Samid stood completely still, the two boys' eyes locked on each other. Anything over there? Will called. The totem statue behind Samid yawned in triplicate, and then it cleared his throat. Just a statue, said Samhead. It's nothing. He glared at Alex for another moment, and then he turned and went back to his table. This is the end of this video. Bye!